arpeggiator, drum track, and step sequencer. This instrument has what I like to call production tools, designed to inspire you musically, to help in your creation of music, and to simply make playing the Nautilus fun. There are three: polyphonic arpeggiator, drum track, and step sequencer, and are available in program, combination, and sequencer, and of course setlist mode. Let's look at each of them to see how they work and how they can help you musically. Go to program mode. I'm going to use program M37 Triangulator Synth, and touch here to go to the arpeggiator and drum page. Each program, combination, and sequencer song has 4 scenes. You can see them here. Each scene has an arpeggiator pattern and either a drum track pattern or a step sequencer drum pattern. Let's start with the polyphonic arpeggiator, or ARP as it is sometimes called. Turn on the ARP and play a chord. The ARP will start when you press the keyboard. For some sounds, the ARP may only start when you play in a specific range of the keyboard, so if it doesn't start, try holding down keys in various regions. If latch is off, the ARP will stop when you take your hand off the keyboard. If latch is on, it will continue playing when you take your hand off the keyboard. ARPs and other keyboards usually only play basic patterns that simply arpeggiate the notes you play on the keyboard, up and down or some other pattern. The Nautilus can do that too, but these polyphonic ARPs are much more powerful. You'll notice that single notes and chords are being triggered with different durations, velocities, and note movement. Much more interesting and much more inspiring. Watch when I select this guitar program and turn on the ARP. The ARP is simulating the strumming of a guitar. The musical phrases created by the ARP can be recorded into the sequencer, so they're very useful, for example with this strumming pattern, to add realism to your songs. Select K64, SR finger bass 1. Each scene can have a different ARP pattern assigned to it. To assign a pattern to a scene, select the scene you want and touch here to access the Edit page. Touch here to select the ARP pattern. The patterns are grouped together in categories, so it's easy to find what you're looking for. Touch OK. Touching More gives you more edit options, like octaves. Whether the keyboard will trigger the sound as well as the ARP. Touch the X to close this page, and touch the Edit icon here to come out of Edit. Let's choose a different program. M66. Fun Comp Synth. Make sure latch is on, turn on the ARP and play some notes. You can easily make overall adjustments to the ARP patterns of all 4 scenes. Press the Select button so that the knobs are controlling ARP and drums. Now you can adjust the gate, velocity, pattern length, swing. Tempo can either be adjusted with the tempo knob or the tap tempo button that lets you enter tempo simply by tapping your finger on the button. 2 taps are enough to change the tempo, but for greater accuracy you can continue tapping and the tempo will be averaged over the most recent 16 taps. Turn off the ARP. Select K91, SR slap bass. The Nautilus polyphonic arpeggiator takes a huge step up when it's combined with the drum track. Turn off the ARP and let's look at drum track. It can be set to either start as soon as the drum track button is pressed, or once the button has been pressed to start when the keyboard is played. Like with the ARP, a different drum pattern can be assigned to each scene. To edit the drum track, select a scene and touch here to go to the Edit page. You select the drum kit to be used here, and the drum pattern here. You'll notice that the patterns are categorized by musical style, so it's easy to find what you're looking for. You can select the other scenes from this page as well. Touch Edit to leave the edit page. Set the RT control knobs to ARP and drums. Of course, the tempo can be adjusted using either the tempo knob or the tap tempo button, but you can also use this knob to choose from different snare drums. And adjust the swing as well. Turn off drum track. The drum track patterns are pre-programmed MIDI patterns, but you can easily create your own drum patterns with the step sequencer using a grid system on the screen. Touch here to go to the edit page. Touch Instrument List. You can have 12 simultaneous tones in the step sequencer pattern, such as bass drum, snare, hi-hat, etc., from the currently assigned drum kit. They are pre-assigned, but you can assign any sound from the current drum kit for each tone. Touch the X to close this window. A scene can either have the drum track assigned to it or one of the 4 step sequencer patterns. Let's use step sequencer pattern A. To create the pattern, touch here. On the right, you can choose the meter, length, resolution, etc. of the pattern. For now, set the length to 8 steps. Let's start by inputting a hi-hat on each step by touching the grid. Touch here to preview the pattern. Let's add a bass drum. And a snare. To use the accents, we need to set the overall velocity to a negative value. Go back to this page and set the velocity to -20. Now back to the pattern. Set the accent here on the right to +50. And let's add some accents to some of the steps. Press Exit twice. Once you've set up the 4 scenes how you want them, you need to save it, either over the current location or to a different location. Let's look at using these production tools in combi mode. Like with program mode, you simply turn on the ARP and drums and play. However, there are a couple of differences from using them in program mode. Combi mode and sequencer mode work the same way, so for now we'll just look at combi mode. Select a combi. Anyone is fine, but let's use B90 EDM Stars Piano. You can see that this combi is saved with the drums and ARP on and ready to go. Go to the ARP and drum page. As in program mode, there are 4 scenes. Each scene can have different ARPs and drum patterns. Let's look at the ARP first. In program mode, you have 1 polyphonic arpeggiator, but in combi and sequencer mode, you have 2 simultaneous ARPs. Turn on the ARP and play a chord. And touch here to go to the edit page. If I turn off the individual ARP B latch, we'll hear the ARP A pattern, and vice versa to hear ARP B. Like before, you can touch here and select the pattern you want. Turn ARP A latch back on and turn off ARP. Touch More. Here you'll find more detailed information about ARP A and ARP B. Since a combi can have 16 timbres with assignable MIDI channels, you need to specify what MIDI channel ARP A and B are transmitting on. That's done here. And this can be specified for each scene. In this scene, ARP A is sending out on channel 4 and ARP B on channel 5. So any timbres on channel 4 will be triggered by ARP A, and any timbres on channel 5 by ARP B. Touch here to exit this page. Drum track and step sequencer work exactly the same as in program mode, but like the ARPs, the MIDI channel needs to be assigned. You can set it to whatever channel you want. By default, it's channel 10. So any timbres in the combi assigned to channel 10 will be triggered by the drum track or the step sequencer. Press Exit. Select any combi you like. turn on the arps and drums, and play. And listen to the incredible, inspiring music that you and your Nautilus can create.